Hello, I'm Jerica Cuevas, and for this project, I was blown away by the exhibits at the American Museum of Ceramic Art. The museum was one I had not heard about before, but my mom had suggested to me this semester based on a recommendation from a friend. We are both planning to return. Ceramics as an art form is not usually what people first think of when talking about art. When think of art, they usually conceive of big painted canvases hanging in big white rooms. Well, people can also put ceramics in those big white rooms. By creating a museum dedicated to ceramic expression, the artistic ingenuity of this form has more room to shine. Two of the spectacular pieces that the American Museum of Ceramic Arts has put on display are the 1990s Medicine Man by Jack Earl and the 1977 piece Self-Portrait Plate The Vitruvian Man by Robert Arneson. They deconstruct an existing conversation with what it means to be art, as well as what it means to be ceramic. By doing this, they make compelling arguments in favor of ceramics' merit as a figurative art and not just a showcase of technical expertise. Ceramics and place within the artistic landscape have often been torn between its place as an art form and its perception of it as a craft. According to research on how ceramics have been taught uniquely when compared to other art forms, while the authors explain that a formalist approach emphasizes the elements and principles of art and design and manipulation of materials for well-crafted art for art's sake objects. The result is that the medium in arts education is treated less of the rich historical and cultural context that other mediums are given space to commentate on, and more as a mechanical process of materials construction and technical proficiency. Unfortunately, while college ceramics courses were and often continue to be strictly based on processes and skills, this makes the two pieces their absolute commitment to using ceramics to engage cultural conversation vitally important in opening this medium to new eyes. The piece by Earl, simply titled Medicine Man, demands conversation. For one, it has its own dedicated hole in the wall that visitors to the American Museum of Ceramic Arts will walk by as one of their first pieces of art in the museum. Interestingly, this means that visitors to the museum would have the unique situation of always seeing the back of the sculpture before the front. This has a precedent, at least metaphorically, amongst Earl's other works. Research on the artist reveals in numerous works, Earl used an figuration referred to the French term dos a dos, or back to back, which involves juxtaposing two seemingly incongruent images that provoke the curious viewer to speculate on the compelling gap between them. The piece paints onto the viewer a unique way of seeing it under the decision to have both the front and back contrasting and vitally important to finding the meaning of Medicine Man. It serves as a definitive example of the notion of dos a dos by forcing the viewer to find the meaning between both their encounters with the piece on their walk through in the museum on either side of the wall. In contrast to the view of ceramics as a technical craft is the viewpoint that can be used to enhance understanding of the viewer's world. Research phrases it as a contextual approach is founded on the premise that objects can be employed to help us understand our world. They reflect our experience and assist us in making our sense of our experience. This respiration of experience into usable thought is the primary transformative value of art. By forcing the audience to engage in this sense-making process, Medicine Man declares itself as artistically important. Medicine Man approaches this task through its sculpture's background. According to research on the sculpture, Jack Earl was born near the town of Unianopolis, Ohio. His sculpture, the American vernacular of Ohio Midwest, became central to his career as an artist. Jack Earl's art often finds itself enthusiastically recreating the normal slices of life observed by daily routine. By taking these undernosed moments and rendering them artistically, there is already a contrast between the seeming incongruence of bathroom implements in museum space. The painting on the sculpture adds to this incongruence. Earl renders the piece in a cartoonish style that makes the object feel like it had been just plucked from a Saturday newspaper, making it feel incongruent with three-dimensional space. The name Medicine Man itself is incongruent with the object, which has itself stuffed with hairsprays and other cosmetic items. About his work, researcher finds Earl wrote lengthy titles to his pieces, which might add a bit of irony and humor to his work while seamlessly touching on a sincere respect for a magical sense of meaning in a prosaic way. While not lengthy, the title of Medicine Man adds a sense of irony to its pieces. The prominent feature of the backside facade adds this magic. This man could be experiencing a moment of droning automation at the hands of his morning routine of medicines and beauty routines. A moment of one's day that might otherwise be autopiloted unnoticed. The piece, Self-Portrait Plate, Vitruvian Man, immediately has the incongruence of the trafficked in symbols which place this piece in the conversation of ceramics as an art form. At once it is a plate, but is also carefully adorned with well-known Renaissance iconography. The contrast immediately forces the audience to find meaning between these two elements and find where something obviously of high art connotations meets with the commonplace plate. When looking into Robert Arnson's history, a prolific history of these types of cultural conflicts become clear. Research finds Robert Arnson is often referred to as the father of the funk art movement. Early in his career, he broke from poetry's skill mentality and helped transform clay into a sculptor's medium. Arnson's irreverent, playful work ranges from recreation of everyday household objects to surrealist self-portrait busts. The transformation of ceramics from a skill and good to an indisputable mean for artistic reflection is the overarching theme of the funk movement's approach to ceramic. Research finds, for ceramics, this meant a deviation from traditional forms of functionality in favor of more sculptural creations. The funk approach to clay inevitably blurred the distinction between art and craft. This blurriness takes a similar approach to Medicine Man by honing in on the seemingly everyday object. In Medicine Man's case, it was a medicine cabinet, in this a plate. Rendering it in the image of the artistic, the piece stands as a testament to human artistic breadth. Confrontation of what ceramics might mean can be traced far back into Arneson's history. Research finds that summer, while doing a poetry demonstration at the California State Fair, he created a handsome sturdy bottle about quart size, carefully sealed it with a clay bottle clamp, and stamped it "No Return." This quick creation, which Arneson titled "No Deposit, No Return," marked his break with the ceramics establishment. Mapping the boundary of where art ends and where it begins has been the subject of many of his pieces. Does art begin when a piece becomes too important to be used, or simply when it isn't to be used, like a plate in a museum obviously can't be? Or does art begin when the everyday is rendered in a new light, a light that through its distortions reveals unnoticed truths? Through ceramics, a medicine cabinet can become art when somebody else's face is in it. Through ceramics, a plate becomes art when a man is painted on it. Through ceramics, a piece of clay becomes art when an artist gets somebody to look at something differently through it. Through putting ceramics in a big white room, people look at ceramics differently.